Hey, it's Brooklyn Lou the Skeptic, and I'm excited today. I get to talk to another great guy in the atheist community. It's Dave from Captive Desk. And let's bring him on and let's chat a little bit. Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Hey, Brooklyn Lou, how you doing? Good to talk to you. How should I address you, by the way? I never asked.
It doesn't matter, Brooklyn or Brooklyn Lou, whatever.
All right.
And I know you as Captive Desk, really, because I see you around it. I just see Captive Desk. But
Captive Desk is my channel, and for those that don't know, Captive Desk is an anagram for Skeptic Dave. So, if you know me as Dave, Captive Desk is good too. I just didn't want to be another Dave on the YouTubes. So I ran through an anagram, and the anagram came up Captive Desk, and I thought, oh, that's pretty cool, and I'm kind of unique. So that's how I became Captive Desk. But most people do know me as Dave, and that's fine too.
I was wondering about the Captive Desk name, and now I know.
Now you know.
Because it's a different sort of name, for sure.
Mm. It's supposed to be a play on being a captive audience because I am a skeptic. So being a captive desk is I should shut my mouth every once in a while and listen, because a real skeptic should not be closed-minded. A true skeptic should be open-minded. So I try, no matter what it is, even if I have serious doubts about something, I always try to keep that amount of skepticism open because I can be wrong.
I love to hear that because I feel the same way, so I can relate to that. Being a skeptic myself, all right, I always try to check myself because that's what I'm trying to do, is decipher what is true. And I know I can make mistakes. I know I can be wrong. So I'm always trying to check myself. And I want to be skeptical, till the day I pass away, because it keeps my mind active, and I always want to ask the tough questions. Mm-hmm. So we totally agree on that. And if we're to say we're free thinkers, because I like to think of myself also as a free thinker, well, that means I can contemplate different things, right? Mm-hmm. I don't have to stay in one little box. I can let my mind go into other things.
And it also doesn't mean you're skeptical of everything. I mean, I'm not skeptical that this chair is not going to hold me up. I'm fairly confident that my chair is going to hold me up. I'm fairly confident that my car will start. I'm fairly confident the light switch will work. Being a skeptic doesn't mean that you doubt everything either. There is a certain amount of reason involved in it. I think when people hear the word skeptic, they say, oh, you just don't think anything is real. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense either, right?
I love it, Dave. Have you ever heard this one? Because I get this sometimes. When someone finds out I'm an atheist, they'll say, oh, you don't believe in anything.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Or everything came from nothing.
Anything.
my favorite is everything came from you. Oh, you think everything came from nothing. It's like, come on. That's my pet peeve with atheism. I've never really gone, excuse me. I still have some lingering effects from having some shoved down my throat yesterday. And I'm really disappointed in my friends for not making fun of me for having something shoved down my throat.
But that's coming. It's coming soon. Let me ask you something, Dave.
Go ahead.
I look at your channel here and there. I pick up a couple things, but I don't know your history. So I'd love to find out, how did it all start with you? Were you brought up religious in any way? I don't know. So, how did it all start?
Going back, no, I've never really been religious. I would say I'm a cultural Christian. In the United States, there are a lot of Christians. When I was a child, it was still in the age where places weren't open on Sunday morning. Everybody went to church. Everybody in the neighborhood went to the same church, basically, type thing. I went to church with my family because that's what you did. However, my parents were not overly religious. My parents did not push anything on me. What my mother made me promise to do was finish confirmation so that I was a member of the church, because she was of the school and of the day. You needed a place to be married and buried in. So you belong to the church. So usually, like I say, a neighborhood style arrangement, whatever you want to call it. And you found a church that was local. You became a member. And if you were sick, somebody would come visit you in the hospital. And if you were married, you would get dibs on the church to be married in the church. So I did finish going to church through confirmation. And thank you to my mother, I was married there. It is a nice old church. It's a stone church. I don't have any ill will against any people of the church or anything like that. It was just, like I say, it was a cultural thing. It was never really meaningful to me. I did it because my mother asked me to do it, and I understood that it was something, people just did, right? As far as being a believer goes, though, I always found the stories rather fantastic, and that there must have been more of a meaning to the stories than a literalistic approach. And I think there is. There are moral stories. I mean, they teach you life lessons and all these type things. So so as the years went by and finished confirmation and everything, I just didn't go back. I did call the church when I got married, and I said, "Hey, I'm a member. Can I get to church on such and such a day?" And they said, "Yes, you can." And so I was married there. It was a beautiful ceremony. We had a very large wedding, and it was very hot. The church I went to didn't have air conditioning, so it was a good old-fashioned church. It was hot. I've been speaking of, I've been married for 38 years now, I think. I have 2 grown children. They're both boys. My wife is, if anything, she leans Buddhist. She's a good person. Both of my boys are not religious either, but they too are good people. They've always been good boys. Took care of their grandmas and everything, like good young men should do, I think, old school speaking. And otherwise, I've lived in the same area all my life. I worked with my hands for a lot of years. I was a technician, a mechanic. Now that being older, I wasn't working, quite as hard as I used to be when I was younger. And I beat up my hands and my back and stuff working on things over the years. So it was nice to find easier things to do. And one of them was finally expressing myself on the internet. My wife told me for years that I needed an outlet for my mouth because I was the guy that yelling at the TV and stuff. What are you talking about? And she said, "You need an outlet, right?" So one day, somebody made me Atheist of the Month on YouTube.
How did that happen?
I was Atheist of the Month, so it was pretty neat. It was on Bread of Life channel with Rebecca. And so I thought, well, I guess I should hop on and say thank you, right? Be polite. And so that was my first experience on YouTube. I turned on my phone and turned the camera on and the microphone on, and I called into her show and I said, "Hey, thanks for making me Atheist of the Month." He says, "Is this Dave?" I said, "This is Dave." So that kind of got me started on the YouTube thing. And I sort of developed a persona. I never had hair on my face in my entire life. So I decided, well, I'll make a little thing for me. I'm going to be me, right? So I grew the little thing on my chin, grew my hair out. My head was shaved too. You can see right now I have long hair. My head was shaved for a lot of decades. It was just a pain to deal with, right? Working and sweating and being dirty. I worked a lot of dirty jobs and stuff. So I didn't have the hair. Well, then, this is going on the YouTube. I figured I'd grow the hair on the face, grow the hair out of my head, have a new little thing going. And like I told you already, I became the Captive Desk. Now, my channel is diverse. I also have the Grassman Chronicles. On the Grassman Chronicles, I mostly deal with cryptids. If you don't know what a cryptid is, it's like Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, stuff like that. I always liked ghost stories, monster stories, and all that types of things. And I have a Bigfoot persona left over from the arguing with the pre-suppers. And this is the full circle back for religion in my channel. They would say, prove God, there's the arguments of prove God didn't do it. And I would always throw back, being kind of a smart guy, prove Bigfoot didn't do it. So, as you see, I've got my cryptid shirt on from Bree. This is from Bree's store, the Hive Psi. Nice t-shirt got the Bigfoot on it. And I've got a lot of Bigfoot shirts, Loch Ness Monster shirts, etc. So, doing my channel, I also had the Bigfoot stories, and I had a partner doing the show with me for a while, look at the trees. He's a good guy, but
I know.
He had other obligations, right? He had other obligations, and we just didn't have time to do it anymore. But we did do like about half a dozen episodes together. That was a lot of fun. And then he said, "Look, why don't you just take it all? You can have the channel and everything." I said, "All right." So I keep that up as a side channel. My main channel then is the Captive Desk, and on the Captive Desk, I do. We just celebrated 1 year of doing Saturday Night at the Atheists, which is a show with a bunch of us atheists get together, and we look at some really high tier videos. I always look for the top tier ones. Kidding, of course. I took a direction opposite of most people. Doing reviews, everybody does the big name videos, right? And there's a lot of videos out there, including the idea of, what most of YouTube is small channels, right? And I said, a lot of these smaller channels, even if they're making, I don't want to badmouth them, and they might be trying real hard, but just for fun, let's say they're making a bad video, right? And I see, somebody should be covering the bad videos too. So on Saturday Night the Atheists, we don't look for view counts. We don't look for so in fact, some of them have only had like a couple views ever that we've reviewed, right? But they have a little bit different perspective, and you're not going to find no new arguments for God or anything like that. They're the same half a dozen ones, you hear over and over. So I said, well, if we're going to hear the same ones, we might as well hear a different perspective, a little comedy involved in it, And we repeat over and over Saturday Night at the Atheists. I also do a show during the week when I have the time. Let me get a drink here, excuse me. Called The Night Watch. And I kind of do the opposite approach. I had a lot of shorts. People put out these shorts, and you don't always really want to, or maybe, I don't know if that's not the right word. I don't want to insult anybody, because I appreciate content creators, even the ones that we poke a little fun at, okay? Without them, we wouldn't have stuff to talk about, But some of the videos can be pretty bad, and I always try to make things not personal, and I'll also offer advice that, maybe if you take a few notes, you know what I mean? Maybe make a better video. It'd be good for everybody, So along the way to doing all this, making all these videos, things about cryptids, and I also do just about anything. I will cover most anything. I have a wide range of things I like, so you never know what I'm going to cover on my channel. But I always try to be civil. I don't cuss on my channel. All the kind of things that I'll give everybody as fair a shake as possible, as long as they're fair and civil with me. I mean, that's my only real condition. I'm not going to have somebody come on my channel and call me names or anything like that, right? But if you want to be civil and you want to talk about Bigfoot, I will be civil and talk about Bigfoot, right? And that's what I do. So I kind of have a reputation as a nice guy. Apparently, I've fooled everybody. But it is sincere. And I also I try not to make things personal. Again, as long as nobody makes anything personal with me. I don't know most of these people. I'll probably never know most of these people. And one of the few times I've ever met people was when I went to the ARC protest this summer in Kentucky. And I did actually meet a bunch of YouTubers in Kentucky. It was a fantastic experience. And hello, everybody. And so that was a thing. All the years of talking about religion and creationists and everything, especially with Ken Ham, who has the ARC and everything. I officially went there to Kentucky, made a sign, held my sign, protested, did the march and everything, and I did my duty. So that's basically me. And lately, I'm getting up about 600 subscribers. I've got like 300 videos now or something. I've been at it about almost about three and a half good years now. And things have grown, and a lot of people know me. I've made a lot of friends on YouTube. I've been on a lot of channels on YouTube. I've had a lot of people on my channel. I do like talking with people. I like talking about a lot of things. And I appreciated when you said that you wanted to talk to me, because it's one of my favorite things to do. And now that I'm older and so-called retired and everything, it's nice to just sit back and have a conversation with you nice folks, whether I agree with you or not. Have a nice conversation, and at the end of it, tell people have a good day.
Well, that's excellent. And I kind of feel the same way. I like to meet new people online. All right. I like to have people, even different viewpoints. I don't think I know it all, so I like to learn too. It's interesting you said you were at the ARC Encounter protest. I saw this little video of you talking, and it wasn't good. I don't know if it was on your channel. Might have been.
There's a good copy and there's a bad copy. There was some audio problems with the heat. We had horrendous heat. I'm sorry, there's a fire truck going by. There was problems with the temperature. However, there is a good copy made by some of the, I think through Chris's soundboard or something, it came out. So there is a good quality out there. So please forgive us for it was hot, man. It was really, really hot. If you've seen one of the pictures, my entire outfit is covered in sweat. It was a miserable 95-degree in the shade day. It was very, very, very hot, but there is a good quality out there. So you can hear me without the jumpy cut thing.
Yeah, I was seeing one that you, even not just the audio, but the video was also all chopped up.
It was the heat. It was literally shutting down Chris's camera and stuff. He was putting a rag over it and stuff, trying to keep it cool, and it was turning off. It was too hot, literally too hot for the electronics.
So when you were there, you probably got to meet a lot of content creators. I mean,
there was
that I see on YouTube.
There was at least a couple dozen content creators there. It was really neat.
Because I've encountered on my channel the Apostate Sisters.
One of them was there.
Chatted with them.
Nancy was there. Patty couldn't make it, but I met Nancy there.
Yeah, and then Chris I see on the Daily Atheist Morning Show.
And he is tall.
I know the Godless Engineer was there, and
him.
I think his channel is enormous, so he's got a big following. So I want to ask you, after hearing, that you were a casual type Christian, at least in confirmation and marriage, when was it you decided, or was there any moment in time when you decided, I am an atheist, I don't believe this stuff? You
Well,
know?
I've never really liked the word atheist because I think it's an unnecessary word. I mean, if you want to believe in something, you adopt a label, right? I don't know why I have to have a label for not believing in something. There's a Brian Cox meme out there. Brian Cox is a famous physicist, works at the Hadron Collider and everything. And he said that, yeah, he has a problem with the word atheist too, because it entails an endless list of things that he doesn't believe in. You know, am I an A Bigfootist? Am I an A ghostist? And am I an A leprechaunist? You know, so it seems rather silly. However, there's just so many times it's thrown on you. And, you know, when you have these discussions or you're in the communities and stuff, you do have to identify, I guess, as something. And some people still try to dance around it a lot. And I did for a long time. And now I just, well, I still don't really call myself an atheist. What I'll say is I host a show called Saturday Night at the Atheist with a bunch of atheists. That's kind of how I say it, right?
Yeah, but like in growing up, you must have had some belief in God, I'm assuming. You know, I guess. I used to be really into God myself. It doesn't sound like you went all the way down the road, but you probably had some understanding that there was a God out there.
Yeah.
You know, and did that like stop suddenly or just gradually?
You know, it's one of those things that I guess I just never took seriously. Probably the best way to say it. I mean, like when my friend got killed in a car accident, I kind of said, why did you take him, God? You know what I mean? He was a good guy, you know? And why did he go through his windshield? Doesn't seem any point to it. You know, I mean, he took a good guy and threw him through the windshield of his car, right? It didn't make any sense. But I've thought about it many times, and I guess the best way to say it is I just didn't take it seriously. I mean, if there is a God, it would be so much more beyond our understanding than what they try to make it out to be. That, you know, I make fun of the Magic Zoo boat, right? With especially make fun of Ken Ham, and you tell me God's best answer to everything is to make a Magic Zoo boat. I mean, it's just stupid, right?
Yeah.
So if any discussion with God, I often say it's stupid. It just is. And nobody argues for a God. Everybody argues for their God, right? So if you're a Christian, obviously it's a Christian God. If you're a Muslim, it's a Muslim God. Or I've never really heard a good argument for a God, because I don't think there is one. I think no matter what it is, it's got to be what you think God is, right? Now, could there be a super powerful being that runs the universe and made everything? I guess so. I don't know. Like they say, you can't really disprove something like that. But is there a God that made a Magic Zoo boat or split the moon in two, or, you know, any of these ridiculous stories from these religions? I'd never been able to say yes. I mean, it's obviously ridiculous. So, definitionally on a God would be a long discussion. And I think ultimately it would always come down to, I don't think anybody has a good argument for a God. They only have a good definition or a good argument for what they want God to be, where they want to go in the afterlife, where they want to see grandma or whatever.
So you don't believe in an afterlife?
That's
not that any of us know, because I don't think anybody knows.
Yeah, not like that. I believe that energy is eternal. So
that's scientific,
right, and what everything we are has always been and always will be. It's kind of like a Buddhist ideal that you were something else. I used to be a flower or whatever, and then I was me for a while, and then when I'm gone, I'm going to be a rock or something. I mean, my stuff isn't going away. It'll still be around. Now, does it hold any memories of a life experience or some? It doesn't appear so. That kind of goes more into a soul and things like that that transcend the material, But I would say scientifically, in a way, we live forever.
Well,
our elements are always around, and they're just used for different things. And I think that's kind of a beautiful thing, that I used to be a flower and someday I'll be a tree or whatever, because they should have their chance to use those elements the same way. I would be selfish, I think, if I used my elements forever. And like, the flowers behind me, if there wasn't a field of flowers, look at the beauty, look at the bees and everything that needs those flowers, right? And that would be incredibly selfish. And I think it's a selfish idea to think that a soul or heaven or something, that you get to own this bunch of elements forever. And these, it's kind of a bothersome thought that that's not how things are, right? Things get spread around a lot more than we like to think they do.
Well, there's the law of there's two laws in physics. I don't remember which law it is, but says that matter can't be created or destroyed, and energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's always there. Right. That's kind of where I stand now on those sorts of things. I think there always was something, and that I guess would be some sort of matter or energy that we might not even be familiar with, obviously. So I don't.
Taco makes breakfast tacos as a channel. Taco makes the argument that stuff always comes from stuff. There was never a time where there wasn't stuff. There was never anything that didn't come from anything. So yeah, there's a shared thing in the universe that everything comes from stuff. Yeah,
that's kind of where I'm at. Like when someone says, well, you believe that something came from nothing. And I'm definitely not there. I definitely think there always was something.
I was in a video about that. Deacon Birdman made a video. Some guy named Aaron Ra. Have you ever heard of that guy?
Oh, yeah. He's a big time.
I'm kidding, Aaron. Influencer. I love you, Aaron. You're a great guy. Aaron Ra was in that video, a big name video. I was in a video with Aaron Ra. But I said something like, I'm an atheist and I don't believe in the idea that there was nothing. There was a lot of other people in the video. Nothing is incoherent as far as I could tell. And looking it up, nobody in philosophy or anything argues about from nothing, because nothing is incoherent. So it doesn't make any sense that there could ever be a nothing.
I think some of that comes from a book that I never read, but the title was along those lines, from Lawrence Krauss. He had a book out, I think, about that.
I have the book.
Oh, did you read it?
Yeah.
So it isn't. What's the name of the book? Is it Something from Nothing or something like that?
I got it on my desk here. A Universe from Nothing, I think, or something. Well, he starts out explaining right away that he doesn't mean nothing, that it comes from something, and that basically it's clickbait.
Yes.
Titles like that are clickbait. But yeah, if you read the book, it's from quantum fields and stuff like that, things that emerge out of the quantum foam and all these different ideas. So there is something.
Yeah, but that book caused a lot of people to think the book suggested that something came from nothing.
Right.
And that's where I think that catchphrase caught on. It was kind of his book, you know.
He's got to own it, yeah. But well, you know, I really don't like to give people a hard time, but I mean, come on, dudes. You know, come on. I mean, of course they're going to clickbait a title. They're trying to sell a book. You know, I mean, it's like anything else. If it has a catchy title, whether it's a song or a book or a movie or anything, these people are paid a lot of money to try and catch somebody's eye or their ear or something with a title. And you know. But we know, those of us that follow creationists, though, a lot of these people, they don't go any farther. They will read the headline. They will read the first paragraph or whatever. They will never read the second one. They'll never read the second word, whatever it may be. And therein, like you said, is a big problem where those of us that argue about creation and with the Darwin and everything, they anytime they cite anything from Darwin's book, they never tell you what the next sentence is. Where he went on to explain himself, when he went on to explain his findings or whatever, they will never read that second paragraph or second sentence. And that is a big problem, especially if you have a whole book and all you read was one paragraph out of a whole book. I mean, that's ridiculous, right?
Yeah, it's called quote mining.
Yeah, it is.
You know, you find one quote you like and you run with it, make a whole commentary about a couple sentences, you know, and then find out the person wasn't even supporting your idea to begin with, just that you quote mined and pulled a couple of quotes out of context, you know?
Yeah, they do it all the time.
Oh, yeah. And YouTube is obviously, you know, kind of like that too. Clickbait, you know, to build a YouTube channel is, you know, very challenging.
I do it too. I borrow a lot of people's titles. You know, if I review stuff, I use words from their title I think are good. You know, atheists are stupid. It's like, oh boy, I'm putting that in my title, right?
Yeah.
And I'm hoping some people will come across it because I titled it, you know, atheists are stupid or something. But I'm also, I try to be thick-skinned, right? I'm going to call somebody, and I try not saying that I call everybody stupid, but if I would imply somebody didn't use their intellect, I should apply it back on myself, right? All's fair. So I try to take it as much as I dish it out.
Now, being someone who's established your own idea of reality, you know, you observe the reality around you. So there's certain things you do not believe, certain things that maybe you do believe. And, but you're definitely not religious. You're not in, you know, in a religion, so to say. No, you know, you must have been Catholic when you said confirmation. So I assume you
Methodist.
Oh, really? They do the confirmation too?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
They have Methodists have communion. All those things. It's like a low key Catholic thing. It is. My grandmother and my mother were Catholic, but when my mother married my father, he was Methodist, and so she converted over, and so I went to a United Methodist Church. But I also think that the United Methodist Church was a good place to start for me too, because now they've had a split over the years. Yes. But the Methodists have always been progressive. They've always, when I went to church, there was never anybody told not to come there, if you know what I mean. Didn't matter who you were. And that's what I saw church as, is that when it was church, it didn't matter who you were, what you believed or anything. Everybody was welcome. I later found out that's not always sadly the case. But it should be that as far as I'm willing to go with the religion and stuff, I think that if you are going to have any type of church or you know, gatherings, inviting people, that it should be no questions asked, right?
Yeah, and a lot of churches use that as a slogan, come as you are. So
They
they'll
don't mean
say
it
that.
though.
Yeah, they'll say it, but a lot of times they don't live it, because if you come and you're a little different, and that causes a
No,
problem.
absolutely. And that's one of the sad things. Even my son has said stuff about religion and stuff, and I agreed with him that if there's any truth to it at all, the people that follow the religions dishonor any truth to it at all. Of things like love your brother, judge not, things like that. Things you would think would really be good ideas. It doesn't seem that the believers really hold them true.
Yeah, I've always seen that myself. I mean, it's I was a Christian many years, so in my years being a Christian, I met some people that I think were really sincere, and they were very decent, honorable people. But I met others that weren't, you know. So I've kind of concluded that there's good and bad in all people groups. Is kind of what I say a lot, because you're a Christian doesn't make you a good person, obviously. And because you're an atheist doesn't make you a good person.
Definitely
Obviously. And so it's kind of up to each individual to become a good person if they can.
And let me point out, a pet peeve of mine is an atheist doesn't believe in God. That's it, people.
Yeah.
So quit adding stuff to it. I've mentioned this a lot of time on my show and doing videos and stuff that I've done. It really bothers me that they add all of these things on to being an atheist. It's like saying, I don't like chocolate ice cream. And then you say, oh, well, do you have Cheerios for breakfast? Well, what's that got to do with it? Let's just stick to this definition. An atheist is not a complicated definition. It is not a long definition. It is not an inclusive definition. It says very clearly, an atheist doesn't believe in God. And why don't I believe in God? Because the theist has failed to convince me that there's a God. That's it. So I'm with you that, oh, you're an atheist. You believe in nothing. Oh, you're an atheist this, you're an atheist that. Well, then now we're opening up a whole box of straw man. None of that applies, okay? An atheist can absolutely believe in all these other things because it's not on the list. The only thing that's on the list is they don't believe in God.
Yeah.
Anything else you can put on the list. I've known atheists who believe in crystals and all kinds of other different things because it's not included. Now, when you're a theist, the theist actually has a long list of things that's included. It's not just believing in God. They believe in all these other things too. But an atheist is on the opposite side. It is a very narrow definition of, we just don't believe in God. And I like to push it when people give me a guff about it. I push back and say, and it's your fault. It's not my fault. I don't believe in your claim because you have failed to convince me. Okay? Now, if you think you convinced me, go ahead. But so far, the reason they're atheists is because the theist has failed, and I'm not picking anybody. I apply it across the board. I'll apply it to all theists. I'll apply it to all their texts. I'll apply it to all their religions, all their leaders, all their gods, right up to the God, man himself or woman or thing or whatever it may be. It's their fault, not mine.
Yeah. You would think that if there was an all-powerful, mighty God, they would be able to convince you.
Sure, quite easily.
Existence.
Yeah.
I mean, that
God,
it would
right?
seem like pretty easy to do that, really.
Yeah, or quit calling yourself God. If you can't do that, then you're not God, right? I mean, you're God. That's like God being mad or something. It's like, what's God mad about? He's, God's God. Must be a pretty good gig, right?
Yeah.
You make your own hours. You set your pay, whatever. I mean, it's a good gig.
I know if I was a god, I wouldn't be kind of mad at anything, and I'd be
right. I mean, you could make yourself a nice puppy if you're having a rough day or something, chocolate ice cream or whatever it might be to cheer yourself up. Your favorite team would always win. All these good, how can it be? How can you have such a bad day being a god?
I know. And
really weird.
Why? I mean, when I think about it too, it's like, why be so emotional? Like,
blasphemy laws and stuff like that.
I'm gonna be all angry. I'm gonna spend my day
angry. God, I got my feelings hurt. And it's like, oh, gee, dude,
It is nuts when you think about it. It's crazy.
That's the thing. It's well said, Lou. The more you talk about religions, the more ridiculous they sound. The more people try to explain things, the more ridiculous it sounds. And, my nemesis has been Ken Ham for a lot of years with the Magic Zoo Boat. And it's like, these people seriously have an argument for Magic Zoo Boats, how big it is, how they got all the poop out of there and everything. And it's like, do you hear yourself? You know what I mean? I mean, from the outside, if anybody was listening to this, they would say, who's these people about the boat full of poop? You know what I mean? And they take these things way too seriously. And then it's like, then it becomes worrisome. And it's like, this is what you concern your life with is some stupid Magic Zoo Boat story, right? With all the things going on in life. I don't know. See, when I was younger, I used to make fun of people, I was ornery, and I would just say, what are you, stupid? I'm not trying to pick anybody. I'm just saying. Nowadays, though, I still have the same question. I try to word it a little nicer, but I'm still thinking in the back of my head, what are you, stupid? You really think all these animals are on a boat, I mean, we're not talking God here and existential things or the mysteries of the universe and of life and all these crazy. We're talking about a Magic Zoo Boat. I mean, it's nonsense, right? And if you can't grow up past that, trying to find these big answers to life and everything, you got to be kidding me. You know what I mean? You don't have a clue. You don't. You're a mental pygmy if you believe in a Magic Zoo Boat. And I know there's a lot of religious people that believe in it. Again, forgive me. I'm taking a lot of drugs. If I've said anything to offend anybody, I love you. Okay, I'm sorry. But I cannot take you seriously if you're going to try and defend a Magic Zoo Boat, especially against things like starving children, sick children, anything like that. And you're going to say God rather make a Magic Zoo Boat than heal somebody. It's incredibly insulting, I think.
Yeah. I feel the same way. All right. People obviously are free to, believe whatever they want to believe.
And especially in the United States, I support the Constitution. I want to make that very clear. You have every right to believe in a Magic Zoo Boat. You do. Yes. Just like I have every right to make fun of the Magic Zoo Boat. It is a two-way street, and it must be, we can't never forget the freedom that gives you to pick on somebody's beliefs, or pick them apart, I should say, is also the same right that gives them to have those beliefs in the first place. And like I said, people that make videos and content and stuff, without them, we wouldn't have the things to critique. So I'm in no, I'm not bad-mouthing these people just because we disagree. However, I think we should agree to disagree. And if we can't do that, there's a big problem, which is what we have in this country right now, that, people can't disagree on things. And it's like, no, we have to disagree on things. I say all the time, I disagree with my wife on things, right? What color do you want to paint the room? Things, what color do you want the furniture? If anybody doesn't disagree on things sometimes, or say, I don't like that food, I don't like that color, I don't like that smell or whatever, then there's something seriously wrong, because not everybody should agree on everything. I think the world would be such a boring place if we all agreed on the same things.
I totally agree with that too. And I've seen a big change in America. I mean, just looking back, because I'm I'm going to be 63 years old, so I've, been around the block, and it didn't seem to be that way to me when I was younger. I mean, I remember growing up and people believed all different things, but we were still able to get along. It wasn't like, well, you're Jewish and I'm not Jewish and we got to, make a big thing about it. I think that America has to come together on human beings. I mean, but I guess that makes me a secular humanist, and when you say that, people, religious people get upset with that,
Yeah.
But I think, Christians, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, they're all human beings, just like I'm a human being. Okay. And we should be able to get along, you would think,
we have to. Like it or not, we have to. That's the problem. People don't want to get along, but you need these other people. You need people to bag your groceries. You need people to fix your electricity. You need people to fix your whatever it may be. And whether you like these people around or not, whether you like them as your neighbor or not, we do need each other. We're a social species. Like it or not, we need each other. Absolutely.
And I wish that message would get out more in this divisive time that we have. Because America, man, we're kind of screwed up right now. It's crazy, Another, shootings like every day. It's like
terrible,
and
the excuses are terrible for it too. That it has to be that way. No, it doesn't. Other countries don't have these things. It doesn't have to be this way. There's a better way to do things.
Yeah, I am. I've been thinking of doing a video, but it'd be kind of personal. But I'm thinking of doing one soon. May or may not get to it, but it's about my own relationship with a Christian, because my girlfriend is a Christian and we've been living together for 8 years, and I'm an atheist, a pretty strong atheist,
Yeah, I've seen some of your videos, Lou.
Yeah, but we still that doesn't impact our relationship at all. And somehow I think we must have something there that can be told to other people, so that
there are content creators who have a spouse that is religious, and it must be interesting conversations. I don't wish ill will on anybody, but I know quite a few people.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
Right? But we don't really spend our time talking about, we do have some conversations about it, but it's not the topic of conversation all the time.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, yeah, that's like with right. This what we're doing what we're doing right now is I don't spend my day and nights talking about atheism, right?
Right.
Most of the time I'm talking. Well, I've had some health issues, but most of my time is outside, spent around my garden and my pond. I would much rather talk about the goldfish in my pond. Everyday things. Did you see that flower in my wife's garden? It's real beautiful. She grows some magnificent flowers and stuff. That's the topic of conversation. It doesn't have to be anything so existential or anything. Did you see that flower? Yeah, I saw that flower. It was a pretty flower. Boy, I smelled that flower. It made my day. It made my wife's day. It made the neighbor's day. Sometimes the simplest things in life are most fantastic, right?
Yeah, and human connection. I mean, that's like, you could connect with someone who disagrees with you on politics. You could do that. You could connect with someone who disagrees with you on religion.
Well,
but today I think that people struggle with that.
We were talking a little backstage about my health issues. A lot of people have heard I had a health scare. And one of the things I found out is that even some of my so-called internet enemies have some compassion. Some folks, a little rough around the edges, shall we say, still wished me well. So there is hope for mankind. For those of you that don't know, they found something in my head, and I was really disappointed. I actually had to put a post up telling people, where are all of the it is a tumor jokes, okay? All the years of saying, was there something wrong with you, Dave? You got something wrong with your head? And, like, there's nothing wrong with me, ha, 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 funny joke. Well, a couple of weeks ago, they found something in my head. Believe it or not. I had a near brush with death. I could have dropped dead, literally. Nobody would have known anything, what happened with me or anything. I was doing a project around the house. A lot of people know. I was talking about it. I spent about $5,000 at the home renovation store. Had a delivery brought to my house. I was going to put on all new roof, new gutters, the whole deal, new sheathing. I'm doing it right, ripping it all off, throwing it all away. I had some damage with some tree damage. We got a lot of trees, old trees out in the back in there. And so I just said, let's do it right. So I had put together a big order, and I was outside working. I was painting stuff. Better to paint stuff on the sawhorses than wait until you get on a ladder, right? So I figured, well, I would do all the prelim. I'm painting everything on sawhorses, like I said, doing everything. And I was feeling a little weird. And I said something to my wife. I said, my exact words were, I just feel weird, right? So, but I'm a guy, and this is not a sexist thing. Please forgive my language. But, hey, man up, take an aspirin. You got stuff to do, right? And that's basically what I did. I just figured I was overdoing it, right? I'm an old man, and here I am doing stuff, and my neck was stiff, and I'm like, it's just a stiff neck, About a couple weeks into the project, the weather turned again. Well, the reason I had waited was because of the weather. A lot of us around this area, we had a heat wave this summer. So I was waiting. End of the summer, the temperatures changed. I said, I told my son, I'm putting in an order. We're going to get busy. End of the summer, we're going to do this project. Okay. So like I said, I was doing my project, working on everything. Wasn't feeling right. Finally, a couple weeks ago, got a snack out of the refrigerator. Luckily, I was at the refrigerator. For folks that have been worried about me, I wasn't on a ladder. I wasn't on my roof. I wasn't using the equipment. I wasn't driving. Best of a worst situation. I was getting a snack out of the refrigerator when this thing hit me. My legs turned off on me. Okay. I literally just sat right down at the refrigerator, and I said, something's wrong. So first thing in the morning, went to, I called my doctor. He couldn't get me until later. I says, I didn't want to wait. I need to know right now, right? Take me to the hospital. So, wife took me to the hospital. Did a CT scan. I think it's the first thing they do. And, they saw there was something pushing on my brainstem. And, that explains it. Right? It was like a major pinched nerve. Now, I could have had a stroke. I could have died. A lot of things. You don't know anything about your brainstem. It's kind of important. Hooks your brain to your whole dang body. Okay. So I got some bad news at the hospital. I figured I had pinched nerve. They were going to send me to physical therapy or something like that. You know what I mean? How they do. Nope. They found something bad. Took me right to surgery, cut my head open. My beautiful hair looks nice here. Everybody that knows me knows I have long hair. But in the back, on the left side, they had to open me up. There was a tumor on my brain stem. So when I leaned the wrong way into the refrigerator, it pinched that nerve, and that's what turned my legs off. I said, well, at least now I know what's going on, right? Bad news is when you have a brain tumor, it's usually from somewhere else that's traveled through your body. And it is a cancer, okay? So people have been sidestepping it or whatever. Maybe I wasn't clear. I don't know. I have been on a lot of drugs, folks, but I have been trying to tell everybody what's going on. They did find a tumor on my brain. As the Arnold would say, it's on my brain. But I've never had health problems. I haven't suffered any health problems. I haven't, no ill effects. I guess where I have this disease is the best possible place to have it. It's not in my brain. It was on the outside of my brain. It was easily detectable. It was easily removed. It's easily treatable. In the doctor's words, I'm going to zap this sucker. The thing was taken out of my head. It's gone. If it doesn't come back, it doesn't come back. If it comes back, it comes back. There's nothing I can do about it. I've got great doctors. They've got a plan of attack. They're going to zot me. Their plan, at least what they are best hopeful is, they're going to zot me and this won't come back at least for quite a while. So I am hopeful I will be around for a while. And if I'm not, there's nothing I can do about it. As Lou and I were talking about earlier, something's going to take us all out sooner or later, right? I have made my peace with it. I've had a good life. I've had a healthy life. My kids are grown. All those kind of things. I told myself, don't be stupid. What do you think, you're immortal? You're an old man. You have to deal with something, and I have to deal with it. Now, the good thing is we have modern science. I have a plan of attack. All week long, I've been at the doctor getting pictures and scans and everything in the world ready. Next week, they're going to make a plan of attack, literally, a war attack. He's going to program everything out, and I'm going to go providing scheduling the week after to have this addressed. After that, I am going to be known as an MRI patient, whereas you go in occasionally and have an MRI done to see if there's anything growing inside your head. Now, the funny thing, if there is a funny part of this, I was a smoker for a lot of years. You might have seen me smoke online. I try not to do it online. Try not to promote my vices or anything like that. But I don't have lung cancer. So, there you go. Yeah, just the way of things. Friend of mine, also a smoker, had a bad heart attack over the summer. His doctor also told him his lungs were good. So both of us smokers, our lungs are good. So yeah, thanks Marlboro. But both of us are non-smokers now. So we got bad news. We're not ones to laugh the doctor in the face or anything. The doctor says, the first thing I would do is not smoke another cigarette. I said, threw them suckers away, right? Yes, sir. I've been doing everything the doctor says, taking care of myself, eating right, drinking right, lots of water, all those kind of good things they tell you to do. You get some exercise. Yes, sir. I mean, I fucked up. Excuse my language. So the only way to do things right is to do things the right way, right? And they said your best odds, especially getting any kind of treatment, is to not to continue your ways, whether you're a drug user, drinker, smoker, whatever. Knock it off, fly straight, do what the doctor tells you to do if you want to have any chance at all. And I pride myself on not being, like you said, smarter than anybody else. Surely not against the guy that operated on my brain, who also turns out operated on another guy I know from high school who had a bad situation, a lot worse than I did. So I have a great doctor. I have a great specialist. I also, thank you for, I have this girl, Laura. She wrote me her name down. She was a nurse in the ICU. Laura, the best ICU nurse out there. And this is for all the nurses out there. They are all the best nurses out there. Thank you, everybody, for taking care of me and keep my spirits going through this whole thing. Yes, I did get some bad news, but I'm dealing with it as best as I can, and I understand what's going on. I understand that I'm not immortal, and I also understand that modern science is a great thing. And a few years ago, I wouldn't be here to tell my story or share with you or even let you know or say goodbye to my wife or any of those things that we are granted in this day and age that many people in previous generations didn't have. So, that being said, Dave is sick. Dave is not having any effects, though. The only thing you're hearing from me is from having tubes down my throat, so my throat's kind of messed up. And being really high on steroids and stuff, they kind of screw with you. It's really weird. Prescription drugs are really weird, okay? But these things are necessary because they were messing around in my brain. I literally had the back of my head opened up, and they were, in my brain, and I can only imagine how serious that was. Now, the other day, I think I told you I had all the sutures out and everything. They said everything's growing back. Everything looks good. I don't have any effects. I don't have any effects from the tumor. I don't have any effects from the treatments. And hopefully, because my treatments are targeted, that my doctors and everybody said I have a good chance of coming through the treatments well too, not losing my hair, not having any loss of functions or anything like that. And so, all in all, of a bad situation, it's probably the best of a bad situation, and especially with the technology we're dealing with. My oncologist says they literally get updates every 2 weeks to their software and everything. That's how fast things are moving in this industry. So I appreciate all the well wishes, and I also appreciate people that giving me a hard time about having a tumor and everything, because I do have a sense of humor, and having a sense of humor, I think, through this whole thing, it also helps you out a lot, and it makes you humble too. It has brought me back to knowing that yes, I am mortal. A lot of us were young and dumb at one time, and we thought we could do handstands over the mountain and everything, and you get to a point in your life where you realize you're not immortal, and that I also, I've lost my parents and my brother, my only sibling, and there was a sobering time in my life where that hit me as well, that my parents and my only sibling are gone. Well, that leaves me. I mean, not in the grand scheme of things it doesn't, but in my little part of the world, the Reaper has my name. Now, for those of you that don't know, there's my Reaper. He sits on my computer there. That's the Reaper right there. My Reaper. There we go. So there's my Reaper. So I have a video out where I was flipping off the Reaper, and somebody said I was talking about the devil and everything. No, this is the Reaper. It's because I've lost my whole family, and I am all too well aware that I am next in the queue to the Reaper. Now you can laugh at him for so long, but he always wins out. Someday he's going to knock on my door, and he's going to take me away. All right. Well, in the meantime, I'm going to flip him off. So things have been going right now, and I want to rest assured everybody that I have my health, I have my brain, I have my mind, whatever you want to call it. Everything works. Okay. 2 + 2 is 4. Growing up, I know my phone number and my address. I can, the The one night I was testing myself to see if I still remembered songs. I sat up half the night singing old rock songs and stuff, right? Testing myself. I have no ill effects. We're financially sound. We have insurance. Medical bills are not a problem. I don't have any of those type of worries or anything like that. For the most part, I have been healthy most of my life. I don't have any regrets or anything like that. My friends and family scare the crap out of me. Someone lighting up firework. Thank you very much. I guess I'm going to have a heart attack. That's actually what's going to put me under, right? I thank all my friends and my family and everybody and for all the understanding, the well wishes. Everybody knows what's going on. They've supported me. My kids understand what's going on. Everybody's, we've all made our peace with things, and there's no fooling around. We're not bitter. None of us are spring chickens, right? You said you're in your 60s. Well, what do you want? I mean, how many years do they promise you, right? Did you get a letter? I didn't. So, otherwise, though, I could be around for many years. Something else could take me out. Who knows? It's not the death sentence it once was. Of course, people know there is no cure for cancer. They haven't found one yet, but there are a lot of treatments. So I am a cancer patient, so to speak, and they are treating me. And how long I live is how good my doctors are. And so far, I've really liked my doctors. They're very confident. They're straight shooters. They tell me what's up and what's no BS, right? I do want to thank everybody. And I know it's a hard job being a doctor, especially in the cancer department, and seeing all the children and everything. It's got to be a really tough job. Thankfully, like I said, I don't have any issues other than this. Up until this point, the worst problem I had was bad teeth. So, I mean, my life has been pretty good. Don't have any sympathy for me. People have had far worse lives than I've had. I've gotten now that after being in ICU and surgery and everything, you're messed up. I mean, there was no denying that, right? It could have been anything. They cut your head open to surgery on you. It's serious stuff, So, but now that I'm a couple weeks out, except for being a high on, because they won't let me drive, I feel pretty much normal. They tell me to carry a cane just in case. But I don't need it. I can walk fine. I can talk fine. I'm eating fine. I'm going to the bathroom fine. All those questions I asked you at the doctor, I haven't had any ill effects. So anybody that's having any concerns about me, they're greatly appreciated. But please take care of yourself too. I do not have anything to worry about. And I am very open and honest. If there is something or anything comes up, excuse me, I do have a dry throat from having things shoved down my throat. And I expect some jokes, people. I mean, come on. Where's all the homophobic jokes, about things down my throat? And hey, I love my gay friends. Okay, you want things down your throat? Knock yourself out, brothers, sisters. It's all good. But I expected more jokes, right? Anyway. You can tell. People have sent me jokes. I appreciate it. Some of the folks know I have a good sense of humor, and they've appreciated me having a sense of humor through this thing. Well, what else are you going to do, right? That's who I am. And I plan on continuing on. I like doing stuff on my channel. I like working on my pond. I like having my goldfish. I like having my dog. I like having my new, I really miss driving my new truck, but I like having my truck, going to the home improvement center, right? And all these things that a so-called retired person does. And that's the plan. And hopefully it'll be for many years to come. and I'll be picking on Ken Ham and everybody else in the meantime, because those are the things I enjoy doing. Right?
Hey, Dave, I want to say I thank you for sharing that. All right.
Sure thing.
Very personal, but I think people need to hear it. It's reality. And I think you're handling it really well. I mean, you got a positive attitude. I think that's always important.
I try to put on a few pounds too. So I'm kind of a skinny guy. So those that are worried about me, I've been trying to put on a few pounds. So I've got energy for chemo and everything. I've been trying to eat good and everything because they say just in case it might take. Now there are people that have what I have that do their chemo and their treatments. They go to work. They're perfectly fine. There are people that are, have a hard time. There's no way of knowing. My hope is that because it's targeted, I won't have a hard time. But if I do, I will let you know, that I'm having a bad day. And, I'll suck all the sympathy that I can. But, excuse me. One thing I found out about medications, they give me the hiccups. Man, has it been annoying having the hiccups. I mean, you try to talk and you have the hiccups, and it is really an annoying thing. But, like I said, right now, though, my voice may sound a little rough, but I do feel good. I've been taking walks. The medications are what they are, but I haven't had side effects from them. Like I said, all my bodily functions work, my memories work, my voice works, my hearing works, my eyes work, all those kind of good things that could be, and were at risk with the scary paperwork I had to sign, right? They'd say those things that you might wake up not knowing who you are, you might wake up blind, you might,
you might not wake up.
Might not wake up. I woke up. I talked a lot, I guess, when I woke up from surgery, making sure that I was still around. I was apparently very happy to be alive. So, once again, I am happy to be alive. Nobody promises you another day. And so far, I've gotten a lot of extra days that nobody would have gotten just a few years ago. Let's be honest. And if this is what takes me out, then this is what takes me out. Okay. I'm not naive about it. And like we talked about earlier, nobody gets out of this game alive. Okay. If it's not this, it's a heart attack, or it's, something is going to turn off, and you're going to turn off, and you're going to take a nice little nap. Okay. So, whatever it may be, I've enjoyed my life. I've had a good life. Again, very few health problems. Don't feel sorry for me. Okay. These poor folks out there that have had a terrible life, hard life, a disease-filled life. That's not me. Okay. I have no complaints. I have a great wife. I have great kids. I had a great life. I had great parents. All those kind of things that anybody could hope for. I've had those things. So, and if, but who knows? This doesn't mean that I won't be around. It could mean that I'm not around. I could also get hit by a bus. I've been making that joke a lot lately. We don't know. You could literally step off curb, get hit by a bus, and whether you have some or not, it doesn't matter. We're very, very fragile beings. Even though in our youth we think we can beat ourselves up, when we get older we realize, oh no, I pushed too hard on the toilet, right? There's these little things can all of a sudden dawn on you that you're not as tough as you thought you were, right?
You could be knocked out by pushing too hard on the toilet.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know that. You could go unconscious.
A lot of people they find literally on the toilet. Yes, no. It is. So I'm not deceiving myself. I'm not denying reality or nothing. I'm just optimistic that the doctors can say, hey, well, you might be around for a little while, and I'll take that as great news and as a credit to what they do. Nobody promised me another year or another 10 years or whatever it is. I could have a lot of, I could still live to be an old man. It all depends how things go. fortunately, so far, I've been really lucky, and it helps a lot having, Lou and everybody else asking me about my issues, being supportive, saying I got a good attitude. It helps a lot. It goes a long way. And if you know somebody in my situation, we want a hug and a kiss and say everything's going to be okay. But then, after the initial things wear off, you want to be treated like you always were, right? If I do something stupid, tell me I'm doing something stupid. Don't treat me with kid gloves, because that makes you feel weird. It really does.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot that anyone watching this can learn from this.
And if anybody wants to reach out to me, I'll talk to you. Okay. It's tough to do online or anything. Sometimes things get a little emotional and stuff like that. But I have no problems talking about. A lot of people have reached out to me, sent me messages, phone calls, emails, DMs, text messages, all kind of things. I don't have any problem with that. If you have a question or whatever, feel free to ask me. I try to be open with everybody about it, and I'm a realist. I know that things, like I said, something's going to take us all out, and whatever it is, you listen to your doctors, you do what they say, and you hope for the best. And for some people, it works out really, really well. It's working out for more and more people every day. And I hope they find a lot more treatments and possibly a cure for people, especially the young people, because it's really unfair that they get such a jip in life.
We only have so much to live. You might outlive all of us, because we don't know. All right. But thank goodness for modern science. Thank goodness for doctors who study this stuff. And they are doing so much more than they used to. It used to be like they couldn't even treat this type of stuff. So there's a lot to be.
There was a time where they would have sent me home and said, write a will.
Yeah, and just like, yeah.
Literally.
But you have the right attitude, because you're grateful. You understand that nobody promises us any certain amount of time here. It just is what it is, and I think you're going to make it for quite a while. We'll probably be hearing from you for quite a while. And
I have plans, so they better not interrupt me. I told you, I didn't buy all this roofing stuff for nothing. It needs to get done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I think one thing I learned, like when I left the religious thing, I learned how to try to live each day one day at a time. Enjoy the day.
I have been doing that. It's where it used to be where, today just sucks. I'm just going to sleep in, or, and now it's more, you want to wake up and smell the roses, and then maybe your, last time, so to speak, that, you don't take things for granted as much. That you do want to smell the breeze and hear the birds chirp and all those kind of things.
See, I believe it's our only time here, and I don't believe anything happens afterwards. I think that there's nothing to fear whatsoever. Right? But you might as well enjoy the time you have, and enjoy those flowers, and
toast. I've been enjoying my toast in the morning. For fans of my channel, we joke about toast a lot. For those that are not in on the know, toast is good, and we love toast. So I with the medications, as many people take medications, know you wake up, you want to eat something when you're taking your medication. So never being a breakfast person, I have a newfound appreciation for having toast in the morning.
Well, you're gonna develop a whole new audience of people who are looking to you and looking at your life, being you're sharing this. And I know that they're going to be inspired, because it takes seeing people go through things with character and a grateful heart, even when things go bad. You know, you still have to be grateful for the things that we have in life.
I am.
You know, me too, and I'm with you. I literally think each day that it could possibly be my last, and it's not that I have anything pressing. You know, I have diabetes.
I had a friend that just didn't wake up. Yeah, well, a couple of friends now that went to bed and they didn't wake up. And there was no, and, you know, they had plans the next day. They weren't sick or anything that we knew of, you know, and they are already gone. And sometimes it's really unfair that, you know, I got to say goodbye to my wife. They were taking me to surgery and I said, hey, I love you. By the way, I made a little recording in case something happens to me, you know, those kind of things. A lot of people never had the opportunity to do that. So
yeah,
you have to appreciate those things that you're.
Oh, shoot. Look at the heart. I mean, the heart can give out anytime. I mean, I don't go get my heart checked. I mean, who knows?
Well, who has the back of their head cut open and looked around, Lou? Right. I mean, that's the other thing. They had no reason to cut my head open. I didn't have any symptoms or anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. Who would say, oh, well, Dave, we're going to cut open the back of your head and see if something's going on. No, they just don't do that. People don't understand, even with these things, a lot of these things, the cause of death is listed as natural causes, okay? Well, that's a way of saying they didn't even bother looking. They didn't cut open somebody's head or their heart or whatever to find out what killed them. Some stopped and they died. Okay. And that's basically all they write down for most people who die, unless there's like, you know, a murder or, you know, some funny circumstance. There's no investigation done. You're dead. They write down on a piece of paper, you're dead. It doesn't really matter what, like we were talking about. It doesn't matter what kills you. If the cells are turned off, they're turned off. You're done. Okay. There's no coming back from it, except for Jesus. There's no coming back from it. So
I don't think there's something to fear, because I don't think anything. My view is there's nothing there. So I mean, you're fearing like nothing. To me, it's like I look at it as, you know, what was I doing before I was conceived?
And I compare it to surgery too. Before I went to surgery, they said, okay, Dave, we need to take some deep breaths out of this thing. And I remember the ring thing coming on my mouth, you know, and I took a couple deep breaths and I was out. Yeah. That was it. There's no fanfare. There's no lights. There's no nothing. There's a couple deep breaths and I was out. And fortunately, they said, Dave, are you there? And I said, yes, I am. Or they could have been, looks like we lost Mr. Murray, and it wouldn't have been any difference to me, right? Yeah, you wouldn't. I wouldn't have known either way. No. So that's what I mean when I say I don't think there's anything to fear, you know, because once it happens, you're not going to know about it. You're not going to know, right? That's what I told my boys and my wife and everything. Having this little discussions with them is that, hey, when I'm gone, understand that, you know, I loved you. We had a great life. And, you know, that's what you want to remember, you know, and all these other things really don't matter. You know, all the stupid days you didn't take out the garbage and piss me off or whatever. You know, those things don't matter, you know. Right. You're my boy and I love you, you know. So. Well, if you continue to share like this, I think that people should definitely follow you, and they're going to learn just from your journey. You know, I think human beings learn from each other. And it is a great thing when you can share and talk and get things out. I think it helps a lot. Keeping things inside like this is really tough. And you will go through it, especially when you get that first bad news. You know, the doctor sits down next to you and says, oh, that's bad news, right? But when after that passes, the best thing to do is talk about these things and get them out and realize, you know, you're not special. You're not immortal. You know, you have to face these things. And then you start to think about, your parents face them, your grandparents face them, your great grandparents face them, on and on and on, all through time. Okay. And now it's my turn.
Hey, you're just a dude like all of us.
I'm just a dude. All hail
Anyway,
Bigfoot.
Tell people where they can find you. All right. And I'm going to link, of course, your channel. And I'm going to ask anyone who watches this, go subscribe to Dave's channel, Captive Desk. And
you'll find me Captive Desk. There is no the or anything like that. It's Captive Desk. It's an anagram for Skeptic Dave. My other channel is the Grassman Chronicles, because I am a Bigfoot fan, and in Ohio they are called the Grassman. So everybody learned this this evening, that in Ohio Bigfoot is the Grassman. So that is why my show is called the Grassman Chronicles. And my name is Dave, which is a pretty common name. So I switched my name to through an anagram converter, and I got Skeptic Dave to come out as Captive Desk. So hopefully, if nothing else, because they're so unique, and I don't think anybody else has the same name as me, you can find Captive Desk quite easily on YouTube. My channel explores a lot of things. I've had a lot of people on my channel. I have a lot of people on my channel every week when we have a live show. We like discussing a lot of things, and you never know what you're going to discuss on the Captive Desk.
Perfect. And we look forward to seeing what you have in store for the future and every day. And I appreciate you coming on. It's wonderful to have you in this community that we
great talking to you, Lou. I'm
rolling in.
I first talked to you when you got started, and you came by Mike's channel, and you were talking to us over at Mike's channel at Answers in Atheism, way back then when.
Yeah, and,
we've been putting this off ever since, and so I'm glad we got together and had a chance to talk.
Oh yeah, and I hope everything goes well for you, and keep the right attitude. I mean, that's the most.
Keep it on, man. Keep it on.
All right, nice seeing you, and go join the Captive Desk, folks. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.